What's up, you wrestling fanatics? You're listening to the True Wrestling Podcast, episode 35. Thanks for tuning in. Today, my dad previews the Malvern Prep Wrestling team with Coach Nathan Lauder. True Wrestling will be covering Malvern and a lot this season. Tune in often for match footage and interviews as the season progresses. Thanks to my sponsor, Adidas Wrestling. They're so awesome. You can follow my dad on Twitter at TrueWrestler1 or visit true-wrestling.com. Without further ado, here's the preview.
Here with Malvern coach Nathan Lauder before practice. Coach, thanks for the time.
No problem.
Whatever, talking to me.
Our first practice starts today.
Nice, good stuff. We're going to talk a little bit about your lineup, and then, but let's get into something serious. You guys play a pretty vicious game of partner dodgeball. Where do you stack up?
We play a vicious. I mean, it's pretty intense every day. Usually, that's our warm up. They like to go 1, 2, 3, 4 games, and then they start begging for more. So it gets pretty intense. I try to mix it up. Usually, the older kids go after the younger kids right away.
Right away, middle school kids.
Now I've learned their trick, and now we're putting the seniors and older kids with the younger kids as a way to mix it up.
So where do you stack as far as top 5?
I get picked every time right away. I'm out. If you're talking about me
No.
personally.
Where do you stack up, though? Are you like top 5% of the team?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, and then who do you pick if you have first choice?
If I have first choice, someone that they won't go after right away.
Oh, so
someone sneaky that can hide.
Like who?
I like any of the seniors, because then the seniors, for some reason, they don't try and go after the seniors right away.
They're all chicken.
Exactly.
All right, back to wrestling. So you guys just came out, preseason ranking, 26 in the country. Tell me a little bit about what it feels like being back in the rankings with this team.
I mean, I like rankings. I think they're a good indicator, but I also think like you have to earn it. It's nice to have it on paper, but it gives us something to look at. It gives us something to go off of. Rankings are rankings, and I think the guys that do the rankings spend a good amount of time researching it, and it's good to have it. It's tough to do preseason because a lot of guys grow, get bigger, get better over the summer. You can really see who puts their work in. We have a big first tournament at the beginning of the season, so that'll be our good indicator to see where we're kind of at and see who was working, who wasn't working.
You got guys going up to a couple guys at Surge or a few guys. Was it just one guy?
Yeah, we've done a couple of tournaments this year. Early, I tried to do a couple extra tournaments just to get more on the mat. Rather than in the past, we haven't been on the mat as much. And now I try to get a couple extra tournaments on the mat, see where we're at. We've been, working. A lot of guys did a lot of freestyle this past year with our freestyle club and traveled and did a lot. So it's good to get them out there competing, not just against the same faces every day.
Right. Well, let's talk about the lineup starting at 106.
Sure.
What do you got?
We're young. We have a very good up-and-coming freshman, Tommy Link. I think he will do extremely well at 106. He's a 2-time PJW state finalist. He's lost to Mason Gibson the last 2 years, and everyone knows Mason. He just won Super 32. Tommy's lost to him twice in the finals the last 2 years at PJWs. He's been working. Tommy's a multi-sport athlete, so he's been in football this fall, so just getting him back out on the mat, it's going to take a little time to get in shape and get in wrestling shape, I should say, but he kind of owns that spot. We'll see who else after certifications can get certified at 6, but as of right now, he's kind of the top dog at 106.
Maybe a topic for another day. He said he's coming up from middle school. Got a pretty stacked middle school team, but maybe we can get to that next time.
Yeah, we have a lot of young kids. The school's done a good job of helping me, really bring in some young kids and develop them as 6th grader, 7th grader, get them in the system so that it can be almost like a homegrown product that, they're coming from our youth club, coming from the club, coming to the middle school, and then getting into the high school.
Gotcha. And moving up to 113.
Sure, 113. We have a couple of guys at 113. I think it's going to be a battle between probably 3 or 4 different guys at that weight. We have 2 freshmen that can come in and compete right away, I think, on anybody's roster in Sean Patrick. And then we also have Spencer Barnhart. We also have a junior in Kyle Matthews that was at 106 for us last year. So I think all 3 of them combined will really have a good test. We'll have a couple good wrestle-offs coming up shortly within the next week or so.
Is that what right away?
Yeah, we're going to do them early this year. Usually, I've always waited until that first week before the competition, but this year we're going to do them like next week, just so that I can give guys depending on where they're at, to either come down or go up in weight classes.
Any thoughts on the difference between wrestling off and having tournament competition determine things?
I do both. So I'm actually giving a speech today for the first day about how we work our lineups and work our tournaments. I think the good thing with our schedule is I can go to multiple tournaments on the same day. So these guys are all getting tons of varsity matches and competition. So it's not necessarily you win a spot and that guy gets it all year round and that's it.
Right.
Everybody's going to a varsity competition every weekend.
Right. Okay. 120.
120 is going to be good. We have two seniors probably that will be wrestling off for the spot, and Bobby Beckett and Dayton Delvisio. Dayton's a national prep finalist, obviously, was ranked in the country. A senior leader just signed with the Naval Academy 2 days ago.
Okay.
So Dayton should hold down the spot, compete, and score a lot of points for us over the course of the season, especially at some of these big tournaments.
Gotcha. Moving on to 126.
26, we're probably going to have a freshman, Reed Fulmer, PJW state place winner multiple time, good guy, good kid, works super hard, diligent worker, continues to get better, is a mat rat, is always on the mat, going all over the place, goes to a lot of clinics all summer long. He will work extremely hard and do extremely well as a freshman.
Okay.
Again, he's young. I mean, you're talking about a freshman in a lineup with a national caliber tournament, but he should do well.
Gotcha. 132.
132 will probably be James Toll. We'll have a wrestle off. James Toll, Ryan Aquilani will probably wrestle off at 132. James is a returner from last year. He was my starter at 126 last year. Did extremely well. Was young. Did well. I think he committed himself this offseason. Didn't go out for football this year.
Okay.
Stayed with just wrestling all off season. Went to a bunch of camps. He has looked drastically improved at the tournaments we've gone to so far. I'm excited to see him on the mat and competing. He'll be a decent size 132 pounder. I can't wait to see him this year, to be honest with you. I think he's made a lot of improvements, and I'm excited.
Gotcha. 138.
38, probably our senior, Sid Matthews. Sid's been one of those guys. He's a senior, has been all over our lineup, has been able to step in when we need him. Different weights, goes up, goes down, does what, has also been the ultimate team player. But I think this year as a senior, he's really going to have a time to get out there and produce as a starter nonstop, not getting up and down. I think he's going to hold down 138 pretty handedly and just be able to know that that's his role. And he's done well. He won over 30 matches last year for us, and I think he should be able to win about same thing this year, if not more. Again, he's another guy that wrestling's his sport. He's been competing all summer, practicing with us, and he's been going pretty hard. So I'm excited to see him out there.
Gotcha. What are we at? 145.
45. We'll see what at 45. I have a freshman. Roman Buno, that's at 145. That should he'll step in, compete as a freshman. If one of our sophomores can get to the weight we're working on, a certification in weights, it's Isaiah Wright. If he can get to 145, I think it makes a big difference with our lineup in terms of his athleticism and he is a multiple PJW state champ, multiple placer. He won 35 plus matches for us last year. I think if he's at that weight or can make that weight, he could score a lot of points and be a difference maker. I think if he's at that weight at 45, he's a top 8 at national preps at 145. That's just my opinion.
Right.
He is an athlete and a half. He competes in football. It's a running back for football. So he is just getting back in the room. So as soon as we figure out where he's at, obviously we'll have a wrestle off and see where it goes.
Right. 152.
It's our senior captain. Another one. Just signed with Army 2 days ago. Probably the most solid kid that I've been around coaching. I've known him since he was 6 years old. Always steady, always competing. He is going to be one of our leaders, him and Dayton this year, just helping that lineup continue to get better. Leading by example, being vocal. I think he's going to have a great year. He's been third at national preps 3 years in a row, placed at all the major tournaments. I think he's going to have a breakout year. He's beaten a lot of top-ranked kids in the country. at some of these off seasons leading up to this year. So now, going in early, I think he's going to have some opportunities to put his name out there.
He's also a sneaky dodgeball player, man.
He is. That's why I said I'd probably take him just because they stay away from him.
Gotcha. All right. Now I'm not sure. Do you actually sign a national letter of intent with Army and Navy?
Some of them, I
Just
think.
make a verbal commitment.
Yeah, they do like verbals, but
Yeah.
like Dayton had like his letter of intent that they send. Navy does. Army does not do an LI, so
Right. That's right.
but Navy does.
Gotcha. 160.
160 will be a sophomore, Jack Waymeyer, who competed at the Surge a couple weeks ago, won the Surge, beat the number 2 ranked kid in the state of Pennsylvania from Kiski. Had a good breakout tournament. I think moving up a bunch of weight classes for him has helped him with his being able to wrestle to his full capacity. I think he's going to have a breakout year this year. I think he's going to have a good every tournament we go to, solid. He's getting better in all the aspects of being out there on top, bottom, neutral. I think he's going to have a good year.
Got it. He's got something going on with his hair. I don't know why that. He's like half short, half long.
Yeah, we let it go.
All right, 170.
That'll be Caden Rogers. Caden's man down at 170, UWW finalist, placed at National Prep All-American from last year. He's done a ton of freestyle over the summer, worked super hard, will continue to get better. He's a sophomore also. We're pretty young. I think if you look at our roster, out of the 14 weight classes, I would say 12 of the starters will probably be underclassmen.
That's going to be interesting.
Correct.
Yeah. 82?
82 battle. I think we're going to have a good wrestle-off between Andrew Connolly, who was a National Prep All-American last year, and Owen Vietmeyer, who also was a starter last year for us. Owen's coming off an injury, so I'm not sure if he's going to be ready for the beginning of the season. So
Okay.
Andrew will probably hold down the fort in the beginning, and then we'll do a wrestle-off. But I think it's going to be – I mean, they're both extremely talented and start for anyone. Both really good, hard-working kids. Andrew's coming off the football field, so he might have to get some time to get in shape, but he's extremely solid wrestler. Did really well when asked to last year at National Preps. Actually won an award for the most pins at National Preps last year. So he's a pinner. I think in our lineup, it gives us some opportunities when we're doing duels to bump people around.
Right. 95.
Stud.
Right.
Yeah. Nick just went out, competed at the Surge, won the Surge. Fargo champion, Greco, took third in freestyle. He just went out, competed in the college tournament, was in the finals of East Stroudsburg. I think he's going to score a ton of points for us this year at tournaments. Hold down the fort, hard worker. You know what you're getting when he's getting out on the mat.
Now, is he normal? Like, he's playing paintball and like his shorts and bleeding everywhere?
He's just fun, man. They have a good time, which is good because it can't be always super serious, but you got to know when it's time to turn that light switch on, and I think he does a good job.
Got it. 220?
220 we'll have
Or 221?
It'll be interesting. I mean, it might be somebody that drops down, comes up from 82 that is in the wrestle-off. We also have a football player that's coming out that wrestled for us at heavyweight and 220 last year. So we'll see where that kind of goes. That one's kind of up in the air right now. We'll try and see where we're at.
Gotcha. Heavyweight?
Our big guy, he just transferred into us from Garner Valley, took 6th or 7th at PIAAs last year. He's been with us a long time. Started with me at the youth club when he was younger. Won a bunch of PJW state championships. Now he's here with us training. Just came off the football field. We'll see, getting him into shape a little bit early on. Usually takes those football players a couple weeks or so. Yeah. We're lucky this year. The schedule gives us an extra week in between to get in shape. So, he'll put the work in. I know he will before, after practice. I know he wants to make a statement. And, we're on a good team this year. And I think when you put all those kids around each other, they all push each other.
Gotcha. A bunch of the guys are kind of listening in. Is there anybody you want to call out right now?
No, I'm happy. I think we have a good team. I think the kids that we have on the team this year really do well together. They push each other, and I think when you surround like-minded kids, they all want to do the same thing, have like-minded goals, and I think they push each other to get there, both like on the mat and off the mat.
Any other themes you coach these guys up to?
No, it's just going out and competing. Trying to get better each week. And I think you heard that in a couple other interviews that you talked to. I think they go into tournaments knowing they want to get better each time, finding their weaknesses, trying to fix them, getting back on the mat, and kind of being like a job, but also having fun. I mean, that's why we talked about earlier doing, paintball. We do the dodgeball they love to play. So we try and keep it fun and competitive at the same time.
Gotcha. Now we know some of the harder tournaments are earlier in the season.
Yeah, we have our schedule's pretty packed. I mean, we'll do Ironman and back to back is Beast, and then the following weekend's Powerade, and then we have a dual meet at Blair and Del Barton, who are both ranked.
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously, Blair's 1 and Del Barton's, I think,
4 or 5, I think, or 6?
13 or 14, or
Is that
somewhere
what it
in
is?
that range.
All right.
And then we go to obviously Escape the Rock, which is another top 5
Yeah.
in my mind tournament. They have a great job, have a ton of talent that comes to that tournament, and they're getting better and better. In my mind, our schedule is probably one of the better ones that's out there.
Yeah. Without a doubt.
And then after Escape the Rock, we have states and national preps. I mean, states and national preps, you're competing with Mount St. Joe's, you're competing with McDonough, Blair, Sem. So, our schedule is tough, and it pushes the kids. So, they're earning every weekend what they're getting at.
Hey, Coach, thanks for the time, and
No
I'll
problem.
talk to you later this season.
Sounds good. Thanks.